My name is Calliope, and I'm going to be the nurse practitioner that is examining you today. Just real quick, would you mind confirming your name and date of birth? Good. And is that your preferred name? How do you like to be addressed? Excellent. So we've got that down. Wonderful. So I had noticed in your vitals that your heart rate and your blood pressure were a little elevated. Is that something normal for you, or is that something recent? I see. Okay, so this is not necessarily something that is a one-off. So is it safe to say that maybe you're a little nervous about the exam? Okay. Would you mind telling me a little bit about that? Is it a fear of a medical setting, or are you nervous about what's going on? A little bit of all of the above. I completely understand. I don't want to tell you to not worry necessarily, because that's not really going to do much, right? But I do want to tell you that I understand your anxiety, and actually after doing this for a very long time, I still get skyrocketing heart rate and blood pressure every time I step into a medical setting. So even people who have been doing it for a long time, it still happens, okay? So I completely empathize with you there. Now, I would like to tell you that as your practitioner here, my focus is not just on making sure that you're healthy, but I'm focused on making sure that you are well, okay? I want you to leave here feeling like you have been heard, and that if you have any questions, any comments, anything, that you feel safe enough to voice those, okay? All right, so you don't necessarily need to say anything about it now. You can just kind of mull over that. I would like to ask what you're coming in to see me for, though. Yeah, just in your own words, what's been going on that you made an appointment? Okay. All right. And what kind of symptoms are you experiencing with that, even if it seems unrelated? Okay. And when did this start? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for making an appointment and coming in to see me even though you are nervous. That is a brave thing to do, and I am very pleased that you took agency of your own health despite being nervous. So that's very good. It's a very good start. Now, I'd like to just start by doing a general examination here. The symptoms you're describing are just a touch, I don't want to say vague, but they could be a lot of different things. So I want to cover all my bases, all right? If anything comes to mind as to something maybe you forgot or something you might think is related to this, just let me know at any point, all right? Okay, so I'm already scrubbed up, and I would like to start by palpating along your head, if you don't mind. Okay, so from this point forward, I will need to be touching you. Is that okay with you? All right, wonderful. Do let me know if at any point you feel uncomfortable or something is painful. All right, so let's start by feeling along the head. Do you have anything exciting going on after this? Not so much. Just kind of hanging out. No, I definitely feel you there. Appointments are always something that I make sure I have time afterwards to decompress with. Absolutely. It's a lot, even when you think you know what's going on. Having someone question you, even when they're trying to be helpful, it's still a nerve-wracking experience. You know that something's going on. You don't want someone to tell you that you're wrong or that you're making it up. So I totally understand that. Okay, and then we'll go forward here. Have you been experiencing any pain or tenderness in any area of the head? Okay, and you haven't received any good knocks lately? That's good. What about headaches? Any sort of headache or migraine history? No? Okay. And hair and scalp health, how are we doing? Pretty pleased with that? Okay. And have you noticed any rashes or itching or anything on the skin? Sometimes we can get things behind the ears or along the nape of the neck, for example. No? Okay. Just want to make sure. I'm going to check it out anyway. Not because I don't believe you, but just because it is standard procedure here, and I have the benefit of being able to actually visualize behind you. And I can make sure there's nothing that maybe you can't feel but is visible. Good. This looks pretty clear back here. And then we'll just feel right in here. I apologize, I'm getting a little close here. Okay. All right. So I am kind of a note taker. I like to take a lot of notes. I have a little procedure that I like to do. So just after every little portion, I'll take down a couple of notes here. I also tend to be a bit of an over-explainer as well, if you didn't pick that up. Now, I'd love to take a little look at the eyes, if you don't mind. So I am going to get a little more closer. And when's the last time you've had an eye examination? Okay, do you wear glasses or contacts? And do you use any sort of eye drops? Okay. So, any pain, itching, wateriness, dryness of the eye, any change in color, redness in the sclera, yellowing, anything like that? Okay, they look pretty clear to me. So let me just grab a little flashlight here. And I'm going to let this run for just a minute. Sometimes it does a little bit of a strobing while it warms up. And I'm going to look at the conjunctiva real quick of the eyes. So I'm going to pull down on your eyelids and I want you to look up for me. Okay, I'm going to pull down, look up. Good, and I'm going to pull up and I want you to look down. Right? Pull up, look down. Good. Good, the skin has the correct tone, not overly red, not overly pale either. So, let's see. Yeah, pretty much got that warmed up. So I am just going to bring the light in just want to watch how your eyes react. Just a little checkup. Okay, and if you could just look at my nose for me. This is known as the swinging light test. It swings back and forth. Good, and would you mind looking at the curtain behind me? Okay, and can you look at this light? Alright, I want you to follow this light using only your eyes without moving your head. I'm going to bring this in and out. In, out. In, out. And would you mind looking at the closet door behind me? Okay, and back to the light. Same test. Keep your eyes focused on the light and just follow it using your eyes without moving your head. We're going to come in and out. In, out. In, out. Wonderful. And you can take a moment to blink if need be. And then I'm going to have you follow the light. Yep. So, eyes focused on this. Using only your eyes without moving your head, I want you to follow this light. Just going to come to the side. Up. Down. To the center. Side. Up. Down. Center. So with this test, this is known as the H test because of the shape of the exercise. This is used to test your cardinal directions of gaze. I'm going to have you follow this. We're going to go diagonally up, diagonally down, diagonally down, diagonally up, diagonally up, diagonally down, diagonally down, diagonally up. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, let me just take a couple of notes. And I do want to check in real quick. So if you'd like, from time to time, I can check in, make sure you're doing all right. But if you would prefer that I not, and you would just tell me if you need a minute or if something's going on, I can do that as well. Okay, you would prefer that? Wonderful. That is just fine. Very good. So, nothing going on with the eyes upon initial examination. Let's take a look at the ears. I'm going to grab a speculum here. And we're going to just pop that on there. Alright, good. So I am going to take a peek inside of your ears. I am just going to be pulling the ear up and back and looking with my otoscope. We're going to look at the health of the ear canal and look at the tympanic membrane. And afterwards, we'll do a little hearing test, okay? Right, so let me just turn that on. And let's start with this side, I think. So let's just come over here and we'll take a little peek at the ear. So, have you noticed any changes in your hearing at all? Okay, and what about any pain or itching, feelings of fullness in the ear? All good there. Okay. So, tympanic membrane. To have the correct color. I'm not seeing any blockage. Ear canal looks pretty clear. It's a pretty healthy ear, I would say. So let's go ahead and just pull that out. And let's take a look on the other ear. Good. So I want to check the ear canal, of course, for any blockage, any injury, color changes in the skin, things of that nature. And we're looking for signs of infection, impaction on the eardrum, perforation, discharge, things of that nature. When we look more at the tympanic membrane. So far everything looks pretty clear, and you look like you've got a pair of pretty healthy ears here, which would line up with what you said. Very good. Glad. Take that out. And we will take off the speculum, and we are going to grab a new one for when we look at the nose. Good, that's all ready to go. Now let's do a little bit of a hearing test. I believe you that you don't think that there's anything going on with your hearing. I just want to double check, right? So I'm going to whisper in one ear or the other. I want you to tell me what it is that I am saying. 18, 26. Good. 4. 92. Okay. 60. Good. 31. 3. 99. Good. 25. 44. Good. Okay. I think you are indeed correct. Your hearing looks to be perfect. Let's move to the nose. So I am going to have you just tip your head up a little bit, and I have my little otoscope here that I would like to use to look into the nose. I'm not going to be going into the nose. This is just more for both sanitation and to direct the light into a smaller point. So if I could just have you tip your head up. Good. Wonderful. And the other side. Luckily, the nose is pretty easy to examine. It's real quick. And you can put your head back. And I want to check on the sinuses, if you don't mind. The sinus cavities. So we have the frontal, we have the ethmoid, and we have the maxillary. So any trouble with any sinus pressure or congestion, anything like that? No pain or tenderness? Alright, so I'm going to first press in these areas, and then I'm going to be tapping along them. So I'm just going to come in here and press, 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 press. No pain or tenderness? Let's go ahead and do our little tap, tap, tap. Good. Okay, so nothing there. Good. Let's take a peek in your mouth. So I'm going to use just the bald head of the otoscope, and we're going to take a look in your mouth. So if you could just open your mouth for me. Good. And I'll ask you some questions when your mouth's not open. That's not very conducive to being able to speak. And could you lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth? Good. And I'm going to grab tongue depressor, and I'm just going to press your tongue down here. And if you could say ah for me. Yeah, just check the uvula. It's midline and the throat. Okay, we'll take that out. Right. So, have you noticed any changes with your sense of taste or your sense of smell? No, not so much. And any problems with the throat, any soreness, hoarseness, pain, itching? No? And any issues with the teeth? No? When's the last time you've gone to a dentist? Good. So we've kept up on that. Very good. So we are going to move away from the upper part of the body. I'm going to do one last little check here. I'm going to just check your lymph nodes, palpate those, and then we are going to move on to your heart and lungs. So I'm going to reach behind you. We're going to start with the occipital nodes, the back of the head here. These are generally at the hairline. And then let's come behind the ears, post-auricular. Then we have the parotid gland here. Good. And jugular-digastric. We have the submental and submandibular nodes right at the underside of the jaw. Good. And then when we come to the neck, along the sternocleidomastoid, we have our superficial cervical, deep cervical chain, posterior cervical. Little bits like that. And then along the clavicle, we have supraclavicular. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and grab the stethoscope, and we're going to listen to the heart and lungs. So I'm going to start with the heart. And for the heart, I don't need you to do anything except for breathe normally. I'm going to start by putting my stethoscope in the aortic area here. And the pulmonary valve. And then tricuspid. And then mitral. Good. And now I am going to listen to your lungs. So when I put the stethoscope on your chest, I just want you to take a deep breath in and out. And I'll be guiding you along there as well. Take a deep breath in and out. 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 Good. Let's take this off for a moment. So, how have your heart and lungs felt to you? Have you experienced any shortness of breath or wheezing, palpitations, feeling like your heart is jumping out of your chest, anything like that? And no pain or restriction on inhalation or exhalation? No. So that's been pretty normal. The abdomen real quick. So have you had any issues with digestion, any pain or tenderness in the abdomen, any part of it? No. Do you have any issues with acid reflux or nausea? No. Okay. Let's take a listen to the abdomen. And I just want you to breathe normally here. Okay, all right. Sounds good. We are almost done. I'd like to take a little look at your hands. I want to look at the health of the nails. I want to make sure that the skin is all a similar warm temperature. There aren't any color changes, things like that. If I could see your hands, please, with your palms down towards the floor. Okay. Have you had any issues with mobility or pain or tenderness in the joints? Okay. Any issues with swelling or color changes, burning? No, that's all been good. I'm going to check the capillary refill real quick. Just double check your circulation. If the color comes back in under 2 seconds, then it's a good sign that we have good circulation. Good. Right. And if you could flip your hands over. I want to look at the palms. Feel the joints of the hands. Let me know if anything is painful. I see. Right, that looks good. So I'm just going to check your lower extremities as well. And it's just going to be a little look-see here. Just look at the skin for any abnormalities. Look at the feet as well. Look for any edema. The feet can get pretty swollen, but we want to make sure it's not an inappropriate swelling. Don't want any pitting edema. Good, good. And then we can move in with our reflex exam. So I have 2 different hammers today. I have the Queen Square, which I think is my favorite. Everyone's got a favorite. There's many types of reflex hammers. And this is a buck hammer. This is a very old style hammer. And this one is the added bonus of a little shiv. Just kidding, this is more for neurological examination when one is doing a soft, sharp test to test the trigeminal nerve. We also have the brush for the soft, sharp test. So I want to start with your Achilles tendon, and I'm going to use our Queen Square here. Get a good arc. And I am just going to hold your foot a little bit. And I'm going to tap on the back of the tendon. Good. The other side. Okay. And I'm going to check the patellar reflex. So this would be your knee. If you could let your knees just hang, relax them as best as you can. Good. Good. Excellent. Now, if I could have one of your arms here, this is where I'm going to bring the buck hammer into play, because I am going to wrap my hand around your arm and put my thumb in the crook of your elbow. And then with this hammer, I'm going to be tapping on my thumb and stimulating that reflex. So let your arm relax as best as you can. And we're going to do that on the other side. I wrap my hand around your elbow, and my finger goes in the crook of your elbow. Good. And then we're going to hit the triceps reflex. So I am going to bring your arm up so that it is hanging like this, and I'm going to be stimulating the back of your elbow. And I'm going to be doing that with the Queen's Square. So if I could just have your arm. Good. And if you could let me take the weight of it, I've got a good hold on it, and just relax your arm as best as you can. Okay, we're just going to. Good, just like that. Very easy. Other arm comes up. Good. Let me take the weight of it. Right, and we are just going to. There we go. Good. All right. I'm quite pleased with that. So that will conclude my general examination. However, I want to ask if there is anything that you believe that I missed or anything you wish for me to recheck. Okay, so we've covered all our bases. All right. Just write this down. So, upon my general examination, I did not find anything. Now, this doesn't mean that there is not anything that's going on. If anything, this means that we need to open the conversation a little bit more, right? Just because I didn't find anything doesn't necessarily mean anything. There are plenty of diseases that have obscure or vague symptoms, or don't show any symptoms until they're well advanced. So, in order to open that conversation, I want to do a few more tests, and then we can regroup and kind of see where we're going from there. So as for what you can do, I want you to, as best as you can, keep a log of your symptoms. And in addition to that, I want you to keep a log of what you're eating, how you're sleeping, how your mood is, and this will give us a comprehensive view of what's going on. So I think we'll definitely get some blood work done, and I will contact you about that. And then I think we'll schedule a follow-up so you get some information for me, and we can take a look and see what's going on. Does that sound like a solid plan to you? Do you feel like that's something that we can start with? Right. I don't want to tell you you're making it up. I don't want to tell you that there's nothing there because I didn't find anything right here. I just want to tell you we need a little bit more information. So we're going to continue on the path here. Okay? All right, so let me order a blood panel, and I will have our phlebotomist come in just a moment. Do you get any sort of woozy, lightheaded, anything like that? Okay, you're more than welcome to lay down for a few minutes. That'll help calm your body a little bit, at least physically, and we will get that done. I've got to tell you that our phlebotomist is very quick, and she handles all the draws in the office. She has a lot of experience. Another thing you can do is usually I will wiggle my toes at the same time. If your brain's a little distracted, it can't focus on all the nerves in one area. if you're, for example, tapping your finger on the other hand, or you're wiggling your toes, that can help distract your brain a little. Right? I have done the draws quite a few times in my lifetime, so you pick up a couple of things. All right, and anything else? So, I'd like to thank you so much for coming into the office and taking charge of your health, and I think this will be the first of at least a few times that I'll see you, and I look forward to helping you figure out what's going on. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night.